What up, everybody? BMF Season 4, Episode 6 is titled Bad Religion, and the episode description reads, Terry's attempts at gaining ground in St. Louis only result in more conflict, leading Meech to intervene. Lucille and Charles continue to navigate life together following their divorce. And the trailer starts out with Terry telling Hoop that he's tired of talking to a brick wall and that he's calling the shots now. And we've seen the writing on the wall for this coming all season, with Meech and Terry bumping heads ever since they got back from Mexico, mainly over everything going on with Jay Pusher, with T ultimately being the one who was right about him, warning Meech that he was a snake. Now we have Terry in Detroit, with Meech in Atlanta going back and forth from St. Louis, telling Hoop that he's calling the shots now, that he's no longer going to be waiting to hear back from Meech so they can make decisions together, or for Meech to make the decisions without him, like we've also seen happening throughout the season. And the next clip shows Meech in St. Louis talking to Jay Push's number 2, Sean, and asking him when did he talk to T, with Sean replying to Meech, didn't he tell you? So we know from the first part of the trailer, and also from the episode description, that Terry's making moves in St. Louis behind Meech's back without talking to him about it first. But we also know from the episode 6 description that Terry's only going to make things worse in St. Louis, leaving Meech to clean up the problem that Terry creates. But the communication problem hasn't just been Terry hiding things from Meech. This season, Meech hasn't been communicating with Terry very good either, and leaving him in the dark in a lot of situations. A couple episodes ago, Terry showed up in Atlanta because Meech wasn't even answering his phone calls. And now Meech has something planned for St. Louis, but didn't tell Terry about it, so Terry's making his own moves that are likely going to clash with Meech's moves. Because I don't even think Meech told Terry that Terry was right about Jay Pusher, and that Loco told him that Jay Pusher was trying to backdoor them and make his own deal with Loco. So both Meech and Terry have been moving on their own. But Terry's moves have been more reactionary to the way Meech has been moving. That's why he's telling Hoop in the trailer he's tired of talking to a brick wall, indicating Meech hasn't been listening to him and at times not even taking his phone calls. Then the next scene shows Terry telling somebody he's been hiding a lot from Meech. And the next scene shows B. Mickey on a rooftop with a scope on his gun, like he's about to take a shot at somebody. And we know the main thing that Terry's hiding from Meech right now is the fact that he's working with B. Mickey again. Because the fact Meech wants nothing more to do with B. Mickey after everything that went down in Season 2, with B. Mickey wearing the wire and Sterling Black catching him talking to Detective Jen, either though he didn't tell her anything, but to get the fuck away from his house. Adding another interesting dynamic that could come into play with Sterling Black finding out that Terry's working with B. Mickey again. Keeping in mind both Meech and Terry sent Sterling Black and B. Mickey to St. Louis respectfully to do recon work. Because the fact that Sterling Black doesn't like B. Mickey and played a key role in Meech putting B. Mickey out of BMF. Duffy took over as Meech's lieutenant for B. Mickey when he transitioned from Detroit to Atlanta. But now Duffy has major problems of his own after getting arrested by Bryant and the Red Dogs in episode 5 for a warrant for murder back in Detroit. But Bryant's plan is to hold the life sentence over Duffy's head to try to get him to snitch on Meech. And Meech is confident that Duffy's going to hold it down for him. But Bryant will go to any means to bring down Meech at this point. And the exclusive episode 6 images shows Duffy in some type of interrogation room type thing, speaking to his father, played by Rockman Dunbar, and his character description says, a father fighting to steer his son away from the life pulling him in. And now we know his son is Duffy. So basically this character, Duffy's father named Cornell, is going to try to get Duffy to snitch on Meech, probably telling him something like he doesn't want Duffy to end up like him, spending his life in prison, because Duffy's father is already in prison. And we know some point in the timeline there will be people who is close to Meech who will snitch on him, because in the documentary, Meech's baby mama Tara mentions people that were like family who were in her house who ended up snitching. So we'll see if Duffy's father and whatever Bryant's offering and holding over his head will be enough to persuade Duffy to rat. So interestingly, just like Bryant flipped B. Mickey, now he's going to try to flip Duffy. This episode, while Meech is in St. Louis, we'll see the return of Kia, and we'll get the introduction of the character Sheik Mooney Bey, the leader of the Moors, the group that Jay Pusha is currently beefing with. And Sheik Mooney Bey's character description reads that he's a magnetic leader of a growing religious movement in St. Louis that pulls on both power and vulnerability. The trailer shows Meech trying to set up peace talks between Jay Pusha and Sheik Mooney Bey. But ultimately, Jay Pusha doesn't want peace because he feels like if he could take out Sheik Mooney Bey and the Moors, that will give him control over the entire city, both the north and the south side. So now again, Jay Pusha isn't listening and causing even more problems. But we also have to wonder what Meech's true intentions of working with the Moors is after finding out that Jay Pusha was trying to work with Loco behind his back last episode. The trailer also shows Meech wearing the same Gucci sweatshirt he's wearing when he's meeting with Sheik Mooney Bey, getting shot at, turning around and firing his gun. It looks like Meech is at the same spot he was meeting Bey at when this happens also. So Jay Pusha could be trying to kill two birds with one stone, taking out Bey and Meech at the same time. Thinking if he takes Meech off the board, he would be a step closer to working with Loco directly. Or this could potentially be Pusha retaliating against Meech because of whatever Terry did. And the trailer also has Lucille confront Nicole, asking her when she was going to tell Lucille and Charles that she got herself knocked up. So Lucille and the rest of the family is going to find out that Nicole's pregnant this episode. Keep it in mind the only person who knows right now is LaWanda. So there's a chance that LaWanda tells Lucille, but I doubt LaWanda would put Nicole's business out there like that. Breeze will be back in Detroit this episode, and Terry, Breeze, Nicole, and Charles will all be attending Lucille's church. And looking at the exclusive episode 6 images, I think Lucille probably overhears Breeze and Nicole talking about her being pregnant when they're at her church. Or possibly Nicole was careless and left a pregnancy test out somewhere where either Charles or Lucille found it. Or potentially she was telling Breeze over the phone, and because they use a landline, maybe Charles or Lucille picked up and overheard the conversation on the line. Either way, one way or another, Lucille's gonna find out that Nicole's pregnant. And Nicole's saying that Breeze is the baby's father, even though it's been 3 months since she hooked up with him before he left for college. And while Meech and Terry are clashing, they also have problems lurking behind the scenes in Detroit, like Lamar and Boom, who just got out of prison last episode and is living with Keisha at the house Terry bought for her. And from the episode 6 images, we're going to see Boom again in episode 6, now living with Markeisha in the house that Terry bought for her. So we already know this situation between Terry, Boom, and Keisha is going to get messy soon. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.